Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hello, my darlings. My darling people. How have you guys been? It's been so long. So, I feel like I haven't been on for like 2 weeks, I think. So, as you can see, I put them on. So, what I'm going to do, I keep forgetting to make another set to sell. I guess I've been busy with Thanksgiving and all the other stuff. So I need to make a set to sell because everybody likes these. So I need to make a set to sell. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. So you see these, and that's what we're going to do. So since since I haven't been on with you guys for a while, I figured I'll stay on and do that. So let's put on some YouTube, listen to our gossip, and get the party started. Okay. I'm literally starting from scratch. Let's see. Oh no. Instagram changed their algorithm again. I'm sick of Instagram.
Instagram's algorithm just updated, and if you don't implement everything that I'm about to share with you, you are going to see a massive decrease in the amount of
I'm telling you.
you're seeing right now on Instagram.
Instagram getting my last nerve.
That you guys need to be avoiding right now because this post type is actually destroying the amount of organic reach that you're getting.
But we'll get back to that later. Okay. So. Okay. So these are. I'm gonna find this again. Let's see. Let's see. I think. No, these are the other ones. So I gotta find this size. These are jelly. These are jelly tips, and so I definitely gotta find jelly tips to go with them.
For the first few months of 2012, Trinidad James worked as a clothing store clerk, and by that winter, everyone was singing along to his first.
Yeah, so you can see, Couture. Yeah, this is it. This is it. So I'm going to be doing a size medium. Actually, I have to look and see. Could I be forgetting what size a medium is? Let me turn this up higher. Not the TV, but.
Some music lovers now consider him a one-hit wonder.
Let's see.
So what really happened to Trinidad James is promising.
I love Trinidad James. I still follow him, so.
Nicholas Trinidad James Williams was born in Trinidad on September 24th, 1987. His family briefly moved to Canada before returning to Trinidad.
Let me see, because I forgot what size. I always forget. I always have to look. You would think I know the size, right?
He has no recollection of anything that happened to him before the age of 7. His family packed up again and moved to New York. Then
let's see.
Florida. Then they moved to Atlanta.
Because I'll be forgetting.
And then they finally moved back to Atlanta. Trinidad told Complex that growing up in Atlanta was cool, but he was constantly teased about his Trinidadian accent. To deal with the ridicule, he used his sense of humor to get people to like him, and it worked.
Let's see, favorites. I totally forgot. I always forget what size. I always forget what size. Why I forget? Horrible, right? Okay, so medium is a 1, a 5, a 4, a 6, and an 8. A 1, a 5, a 4, a 6, and an 8. So 1, 5, 4, 6, 8. So you see, these are
At the age of 15, he was tired of
Eno Couture,
mother, so he got
Max Estrada. This is what I use. I already tell y'all. I be telling y'all. I be using jelly nails.
kids and no high school diploma, and their living situations encouraged Trinidad to stay in school. He graduated
Okay,
from
one.
Atlanta High School and started working full-time for a moving company. With his paycheck, he splurged on expensive outfits and would show off his style at nightclubs every weekend. But his priorities were all messed up, and he never invested in a car. When the company relocated, he was unable to get to work. He found himself without a job. Without a stable source of income, he began shopping at thrift stores to fuel his love for fashion.
Boom.
He then got hired at a Waffle House, and with his bank account replenished, he resumed his
Where'd I put it? Okay.
One day, while shopping at a
Trying to do all this at one time is crazy. 1, 5.
chased behind them. Suddenly, Trinidad found himself alone in his favorite clothing store and with the keys to the register. But instead of helping himself with cash, he locked up the store and waited outside until the manager got back. His kind gesture was rewarded, and he was offered a job at the boutique. He worked at the store and at Waffle House simultaneously until the store owner started paying him more money so he wouldn't have to split his time between two jobs. When things got slow during the day, he surfed the internet for 3 weeks while writing down some lyrics. Working at the boutique allowed him to network with people from all walks of life. One day, a man working a couple stores down approached Trinidad. They became friends and would play basketball together. In 2011, the man invited Trinidad to a studio session. When Trinidad hopped on the mic, he wasn't satisfied with the poor sound quality, so he splurged on a premium studio session and was able to create a song that would soon become a hip-hop classic.
Let's see. 4.
When DJ Dirty got a hold of Trinidad's song, All Gold Everything, he played it on his ballroom news program, and suddenly Trinidad found himself with an audience outside of Atlanta and all across the nation. In 2012,
That's a 9.
was officially released and charted in the top 40 of the Billboard
Okay,
Top
6 and
100.
8. Okay, so 6 and 8. Basically 6 and 8. The last two sizes. 6 and 8. Let's find 6 and let's find 8 because that was a pain in the neck.
In early 2013, the All Gold Everything music video was released.
6 and 8.
His Atlanta hometown wearing gold Chanel chains, rocking long nails and velvet Versace slippers while holding a puppy and riding a gold bike with flat tires. The beat, in combination with his effortless lyrics, helped the video reach millions of views. No one was more surprised by the popularity of the song than Trinidad himself. He had only been rapping for 1 year before his career blew up. He told Interview magazine all he wanted to do was take care of his mom and give her a better life.
Aww.
With the success of his song and with his multi-million-dollar
And
contract,
8.
he made Double XL's 2013 freshman class list.
Let's see,
alongside
and 8.
Boy Q, Travis Scott, and Logic. He also put his focus on generating more wealth. He told GQ magazine he launched a clothing line called Gold Gang Gear. He called the brand a marketing
Okay.
to capitalize off of his newfound fame.
Yeah.
The second mixtape entitled Paradise Smile in August 2013.
Ooh, the heat is coming on. I'm sitting right by the radiator. When I tell you this radiator.
He was so new to the rap game, he did his best to soak up as much knowledge as possible. Preparing a November
Okay.
he made one devastating mistake that changed his entire career. While performing at the Converse Rubber Track Studios in Brooklyn, Trinidad reminisced when New York was at the forefront of hip-hop culture, and when groups like Dipset were dominating the industry. At first, he received applause from the crowd. But then he switched gears and said Atlanta was taking over hip-hop. In the face of New Yorkers, Trinidad announced, Atlanta runs y'all musically, as the crowd moved. That same month, he released the diss track called Liars, with the acronym standing for Land of Real Short. In the song,
Okay.
who doubted his career, such as Charlamagne the God of the Breakfast Club. It didn't take long for Charlamagne to crown Trinidad the Donkey of the Day. The radio host called him a horrible rapper who makes garbage music. Charlamagne added, "You're going to fool around and ruin your career before you get the chance to buy yourself some veneers."
Damn.
Charlamagne's co-host, DJ Envy, announced he would no longer play Trinidad's records on the air. And other New York programming crews, including Hot 97, followed suit the label wasn't going to release the for free. He also told those who collaborated on the album he hoped they weren't expecting any payments because he was all out of money. 3 days
No, he
after his
didn't.
announcement, he released a surprise track on SoundCloud called Doin' Me. In the song,
Okay.
he opens up about his situation and raps, "Lord, please forgive me, because I don't know which road to go down." He said he was up until he was able to call his manager that would change his life. Wanted to use his "Don't Believe Me, Just Watch" lyrics from All Gold Everything in their then upcoming single, Uptown Funk. Trinidad agreed and was given a songwriting credit and 8% royalty.
I didn't know that.
According to a 2017 Forbes article, he had already made $150,000 since the song's release.
I didn't know that.
BuzzFeed News reported that from that track alone, Trinidad would likely remain a very wealthy man, whether he ever writes another hit or not.
I did not know that.
He was actually snubbed in 2016 when Mark Ronson, Bruno, and the rest of their team won Grammys for Best Album and Record of the Year. According to the Recording Academy, songwriters aren't recognized in the Record of the Year category. However, if the track was the Song of the Year, Trinidad would have received a Grammy. Despite the lack of recognition, he said he was very happy with the project. The track was just what he needed to build back up his confidence as an artist. He launched his own label, Records, and between the years of 2015 and 2018,
Okay.
he released 7 mixtapes. As the head of his own label, he loves being able to pay himself, his artists, and his producers. And according to Forbes, he's still bringing in $5,000 to $20,000 per performance. Trinidad's career is a living example of what to do and what not to do as a new artist.
Okay, so this is what I used last time. I have black, white, and gold. You can use code SLAYEDBYMZCECE, my name. Get 20% off on Makartt.com.
Perhaps his time as a rap sensation didn't last long, but in his eyes, he's not a one-hit wonder. All Gold Everything was a significant contribution to the world of music.
Damn.
It will remain a classic song for many years to come.
Okay.
Let us know if you're shocked by the outcome of Trinidad James'
Damn.
career. And thanks for watching Real Daddy Gossip.
See, I learned something new. I didn't know that. That's why I be watching these things. You learn something new. I didn't know about that.
Got lingering odors? Grab Febreze Small Spaces.
Okay.
Firmly to activate.
Okay.
Continuously eliminates and prevents odors. To freshen up any small
And since I had like since I put a little, I was scrubbing and I just want to make sure there's nothing on here. It's clear. Okay.
Jay Holiday exploded onto the music scene in 2007 with his chart-topping debut album. Describing his style of music as street soul, the Washington, D.C. native received NAACP, BET,
Okay, so I'm using, this is what I have here. The base is black.
With some of the most
So I'm going to do that.
writers in his corner, we assumed he would stay at the top
Okay.
of the charts forever. Sadly, that wasn't the case. Here's what really
Ooh, and I tell you this heat, I'm sitting right by the heater in here.
Nahom Grimes was born on November 29th, 1984.
Oh, Jay Holiday, my boy.
And an Eritrean father. His mom was a preacher and a gospel singer, so he spent a lot of time in the church. Jay told
So let me
Urban
make
Records,
sure that.
since music was always the main focal point in his early years, he had an intense desire
Okay,
to
that's
become a
my
singer.
thing here.
Around the age of 9, his older cousins began encouraging him to sing to all the girls passing by in the neighborhood. Jay soon realized his cousins were just using him to get the girls' attention. But he didn't mind because singing on the street helped him develop his voice.
Okay.
At the age of 11, he was really starting to perfect his skills when tragedy struck. Jay told Urban Bridges his dad got really sick, but he kept his diagnosis from everyone. Even Jay's mom didn't know her husband was dying until it was too late. Jay and his remaining family members were devastated.
Okay.
In an interview with BET, he blamed his dad for his mom's struggles as a single parent. He started hanging out in the streets, but the fear of disappointing his mom kept him on the straight path. And besides, he never had enough time to settle down in one place and make a lot of friends. His family bounced around, and he attended 3 different high schools. During his teenage years, he discovered a few songs and really fell in love with them. He finally realized the songs were all by the same artist, Marvin Gaye. That discovery led Jay down a path to other great musicians, including Donny Hathaway and Al Green. He knew he had officially found his calling.
Okay, hold
trio
on.
called 295, and they began performing throughout DC and Maryland. After graduating from high school, he and his group mates moved to Atlanta, hoping to ride the wave of popular music originating from that region. They got signed
It's
to
taking a
Jazzy
little.
Bass label, but since Sierra had just popped off, they had to wait their turn.
Hold on.
Jay said he started to get frustrated. On top of that, things with his group weren't going as planned. His group mates spent all of their time playing video games and chasing girls.
Oh, no.
Jay to carry the load. He told Urban Bridges, as the lead singer, I was doing
Okay.
75-80% of the work. That gets old. They had a meeting with music executive L.A. Reid, but were unable to secure a deal. Their demo had circulated around the industry so many times, Jay knew it was time for them to record some new music if they ever wanted to get signed. And since he was doing all of the work anyway, he decided it was the best time to go solo. After recording a 4-song demo, it landed on a desk at Capitol Records. They immediately signed Jay to a record deal in 2005, and he went on to work on his debut album. He finished the entire album in 2006, but it didn't feel complete. Jay got word that The Dream had written a song entitled Bed that would be perfect for him. Jay was told that Chris Brown was also interested in the track.
Oh.
Jay knew if he wanted to claim it, he would have to record the song right away and make a payment to The Dream before Chris Brown could get a
Ooh,
chance
I didn't know
to do
that.
so. Jay said he recorded the song that same night. When Chris Brown found out, it caused some tension between him and The Dream.
I didn't know that.
On MTV and confirmed Chris was considered for the song, but he gave it to Jay because Jay paid for it first.
I didn't know
Jay
that.
also recorded the song Suffocate, and finally his album Back of My Lack was ready to go. It peaked at #1 on the Billboard Top R&B Hip Hop Albums chart, selling over 100,000 copies in its first week. When the sensual song Bed was released, it climbed to the #5 spot on the Billboard Hot 100, and Suffocate peaked at #18. The world was infatuated with the industry's newest star. Back of My Lack was nominated for Best R&B Album at the 51st Annual Grammy Awards, and Jay was even asked to go on Robert Kelly's Double Up Tour alongside Keisha Cole and Ne-Yo, who was set to open up for Robert. It wasn't long before drama was brewing. Ne-Yo abruptly dropped out of the tour, and Robert's record label called it a contractual disagreement. However, Ne-Yo told BET that in the first reviews of the show, people were talking more about his performance than Robert's. Ne-Yo added, I don't think Robert liked that too much.
Ooh.
A spokesperson for Robert clapped back in a statement which read, Robert is certainly confident enough in his own abilities to be happy to share the stage with enormously talented people. Despite the drama, Jay still headed out on tour and called it all a learning experience. In an interview with BET, he described Robert as, quote, a character, and said Robert tried to bark orders at everyone, but Jay's team stood up for him and didn't allow the veteran artist to get away with it. Following the end of the tour, it was time for Jay to head back into the studio, and his record label had some big changes in store for his follow-up album. He told True Exclusive's website that Capitol Records thought he went a little too hard on his first album. They were ready
Really?
to clean him up and show his softer side.
No, that's what happened.
Jay said he decided to listen to his label execs, but he didn't completely back down. He began speaking his mind more than ever, and because he wasn't holding back, his record label thought he was acting like a diva. Jay said they pulled his funding and stopped promoting the album. He told BET he even had to pay for his own photo shoot in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The 2009 album entitled Round 2 was finally released. It sold only 55,000 copies in the first week. It was a flop. But since he was just following the label's advice, it was their fault, right? Wrong. Jay said they blamed him for everything.
Wow.
When it came time to release his third album, Capitol Records decided to play hardball. He told True Exclusive's website that becoming a singer was never about the money. And because he wasn't money hungry, he was able to make the right decision for his career.
Okay.
He put his foot down and gave Capitol Records an ultimatum. Either
Okay.
release his album and give him his advance money, or release him from his contract.
And let me
Capitol
guess.
Records decided to
To
let him
release.
go. Jay walked away and never looked back.
Want done cleaning? Get Kaboom Foamtastic with
Okay.
OxyClean. It sprays on blue with OxyClean Stain Fighters eliminate calcium, lime, hard water stains, and soap scum. When it's white, just swipe. For a quick and easy clean, try Kaboom Foamtastic with OxyClean.
He signed with Def Jam in 2010, but after 2 years, he left the label. Jay told You Know I Got Soul website, some situations just aren't good situations. I just had to get out of there. He released a 2011 mixtape and a single in 2012 called Sign My Name, but things just weren't right for him on a professional level. So he decided to take a break. A very long break. He told Empire Radio that music got really confusing for him, and it took some time for his heart to get back into the groove of things. In order to have better control over his career, he decided to go the independent route by creating his own label, Holiday Music Group. In 2014, he finally released his third album entitled Guilty Conscience. The album spent only 2 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 42. It was yet another disappointing flop for the singer.
Oh, man.
Jay disappeared once again, but he made headlines in 2017 in the most peculiar way. Kanye West presented his Yeezy Season 5 fashion show in New York City. And while Kanye's models walked down the runway, the Dreams demo version of the song Bed played in the background.
What?
Of the show's official soundtrack.
Are you serious?
Why did Kanye choose the Dreams rough version instead of Jay's version that topped the charts?
You want to pay him?
No one knew, not even Jay. It appeared to be the ultimate diss. Jay told Complex he was confused by the snub, but he was taking it all in stride. He said, I know how much the Kardashian family has supported me and my music, and I'm also appreciative of them as well. In 2018, he was back in the news after the Grammys released their list of nominees. Jay was ticked off by a lot of things, including the lack of black men nominated for awards. He was also offended by women artists.
Cardi, Beyonce, SZA, all y'all stop using that pain to make it okay to say some bull in your record and get nominated for a Grammy for going through some bull. Cause so have I.
The Beehive wasn't having it, of course, and online users joked that Jay had gotten himself blackballed for talking negatively about the Queen Bee. Later that
Why
same
do you
year,
talk
he was
about-
in the middle of some more mess. R&B singer Jacquees set the internet ablaze when he proclaimed he was, quote, this generation's king of R&B. Everyone threw in their 2 cents as to who they thought deserved the crown, and Jay decided to speak on the matter as well. While filming an Instagram video, he began rattling off his list when this happened.
There's 3 kings of R&B.
Uh-oh.
The first one sold 20 million on his first album. I'm not done like baby.
Oh, no.
As you can expect, the internet clowned him for days for being mistaken for ballet.
Oh, no.
In October 2018, he released the single 25 to Life and promised his album entitled Time was in the works. As of this video, the album has yet to be released. 2019 was yet another hectic year for Jay. It was announced he would be joining Immature's TV tour alongside Ray J, Day 26, and B5. But after Ray J dropped out of the concert amid allegations he was cheating on his wife, Princess Love, Jay was heated. He took to his Instagram to call out Ray J and B5's group member, Dustin Michael.
Ray J, B5, and Johnny, Devin, Devon, whatever your name is, start reaching out for people. think gonna hear about it, because you're gonna have to cross our path, bro.
Dustin clapped back in a message of his own.
You can pull up. Well, I think we both in Atlanta. I think he in Atlanta. It's whatever.
Even though his time at the top was brief, Jay gained so much knowledge. He told Kempire Radio he learned that he needed to pay closer attention to the business side of things instead of just being an artist. These days, he's in full control of his independent label and travels across the world performing at major venues and music festivals for his loyal fans.
That's the first code.
We're patiently waiting for more music. In the meantime, we'll continue.
Both of them got their first code.
And reminisce about the times when we couldn't turn on the radio without hearing one of Jay Holiday's soulful ballads. Let us know your thoughts on Jay Holiday's.
And it's like really rich. Like I had these on for like 2 weeks already, so I'm really happy with these.
What makes Febreze air effects different? While cheaper aerosols rely on artificial propellants, Febreze uses a 100% natural propellant. Check it out. Pressure created by what's in your air makes the bottle spray, which means freshness everyone will love. Febreze.
Ooh. Let's see. I'm sitting here eating goldfish. You know, Pepperidge Farm goldfish. You know, the cheese ones.
Hey, what's up? It's the big homie Life Jennings right here.
Life Jennings began singing in church, but after getting caught up with the wrong crowd, he found himself serving a lengthy.
All right, so this is the second coat. And I'm mad because I bought another brand that was almost triple the price of this. And it's just as rich as the other brand. And it's just as rich. It's Makartt.
Life Jennings was born on June 3rd, 1978 in Toledo, Ohio. After losing his father at a young age, he found solace in singing in the church. As a teenager, he started a group called the Dotsons with his brothers and cousins. Before the group could make an impact on the industry, they broke up. Life headed to the streets and started running with the wrong crowd. That led him to
trying to make it really rich. You go, because if it looks rich, it looks exotic, you know, lux. It's like really, it only needs 2 coats.
Life and his friends later realized they hit the wrong target, but it was too late. They got locked up on charges.
It only needs 2 coats.
The lawyer argued that Life had no idea about the plan to strike the house and thought he was only tagging along to vandalize a car. The court didn't buy it. Life was found guilty of arson and was sentenced to 10 years behind bars. In 1997, while he was still finishing out his sentence, Erykah Badu's debut album Baduism found its way inside Life's jail cell. He told the Clayton Perry website that listening to the neo-soul artist changed his perspective on music. He began working on music every single day and joined the prison's church band. He learned how to play the guitar since that was the only instrument allowed behind bars. Here he adopted the moniker Music for Life. His friends behind bars thought the name was too long, so he went with the name Life instead. After getting released in 2002, he was ready to show the world what he was all about. According to Rolling Out magazine, he recorded a 4-song demo which led to an appearance at the legendary Apollo Theater. When he walked on stage, he immediately got booed. As he began singing in a mesmerizing falsetto, all while strumming his guitar, the audience fell in love.
I should remember that. I remember when he was on the Apollo and like work, like he won mad times every week. Because after a while, like you can't win anymore, and he won every single time.
And his debut album, Life 268192, which paid homage to the identification number he was given while incarcerated. Even though the song Must Be Nice was a radio favorite, the album had a slow climb to the top of the charts. Life told Vlad TV he still had money left from his records to help him get by. So thank
you for the follows. Make sure if y'all not following me to follow me, because I'm literally going to be every week I'm going to be doing a set live
helped him gain
So every week you're gonna be seeing me do a set.
to believe in him, so they put more and more money behind him.
Every week I'm gonna be doing a set live.
It peaked at number 7 on the Billboard Top R&B Hip Hop chart. The album was then
Okay, so I'm cleaning off the sides to make sure it's not like
American Idol winner Fantasia. To Life's amazement, his album was certified platinum a year after its initial debut. According to All Hip Hop, Life and his then girlfriend and manager Joy Bounds welcomed his son named
okay.
And in 2006, he released his second
Every
album,
week it's gonna be live
New Bundle of Joy. The
on
album
TikTok.
included the song SEX, featuring
So if you're not following me on TikTok,
the song peaked at number 3
follow me on TikTok.
Life
If it lets me save it,
on the road. But after a year of
then I'm posting it on
argument and she was kicked off the
YouTube.
tour. She returned to her hometown in Milwaukee.
Hopefully it lets me save it.
Start her solo career.
Sometimes it lets me save it.
In 2007, Life's girlfriend Joy gave birth to their second child.
Sometimes it's nice.
And then some sad news. Lala and her producer were found riddled with gunshot wounds inside a bed.
Yes, that was so sad. They were living in the studio and they just killed them. It was like gruesome, and they still don't know who the killer is. They never found the killer, and that was in 2007. Never found who killed them. They lived in the studio that they were working in. Her boyfriend. Never found out who killed them. They said it was like a robbery, but never found out. So sad. Okay, so that's the second coat. See how rich it is? I'm really hoping TikTok lets me save this live. Okay, so that's the second coat.
An Atlanta newspaper reported Life was involved in an argument with Joy. He followed her to her family's home in an Atlanta suburb, destroyed the front door, and fired shots in the street.
Okay.
When cops arrived, Life led them on a 90-mile-per-hour chase that ended when he crashed his Corvette. In response to the charges, Life later told Power 105.1 radio station that he acted out of anger and was in his feelings about his children. He added, "Females play games about your kids, and I play about mine." While out on bail, he made good use of his time by releasing his 4th album, I Still Believe, in August 2010. Life announced to his fans that the album, which featured Fabulous, Bobby Valentino, Ludacris,
I didn't, you know what? I kind of messed up. I didn't do a Christmas. I didn't do any Christmas. I still have some last year Christmas nails. So I just left them up. But I don't know. I didn't do any. But I still have some. They're up, so.
According to Billboard, Life asked the judge if he could go home and say goodbye to his children. His request was denied, and he was hauled off to serve a 3.5-year sentence.
That's so sad.
Anthony Hamilton and Life's label didn't even know he was locked up until the singer posted a since-deleted statement on his Facebook page. At the time, Life had no idea how many bridges he was burning. In 2011, Marquita gave birth to Life's 4th child, Life Michael Jennings. Unfortunately, while behind bars, he received a call from Warner Brothers record label letting him know he was dropped from the label.
Horrible.
In 2013, Life was released. He told Vlad TV all of his money was gone because he spent it on child support, mortgages, and taking care of people in his inner circle. He thought he would be able to pick up right where he left off, but no one wanted to deal with him. Music executives were too afraid to invest in him over the fear that he might get locked up again. Life moved in with his girlfriend before hitting the road to perform at various venues. Instead of making $20,000 per show like he did prior to getting locked up, he was only getting paid $3,000 to $4,000 per show. He thought his career was over until he received a call from Mass Appeal Records signing him to a new record deal. He released his 5th album called Lose It. A 6th album entitled Tree of Life followed in 2015. The album peaked at number 9, proving that Life was still a major player in the music industry. In 2016, he pursued other avenues when he appeared on the reality show Love and Hip Hop Atlanta as Carly Red's love interest.
Yeah, I remember that.
He pretended to propose to her on the show, only to dump her right in front of the cameras. He told the Situations with Wanda Smith radio show he didn't think Carly would be a good role model for his children. The truth was actually much crazier than anyone could have imagined.
What?
He and a woman named Gwendolyn Skarkowski reportedly got married 2 months before he appeared on Love and Hip Hop. His life began to unravel from there. In 2016, he welcomed a son named Ian with his wife Gwendolyn, and a child named Noah with a woman named India Mendoza. Later that same year,
Oh my
his
goodness.
first baby mama Joy received a temporary restraining order which required Life to stay at least 200 yards away from her and their 2 sons. Furthermore, in February 2017, Gwendolyn filed for divorce, citing infidelity. In 2018,
I would think so.
his 7th child.
Oh my gosh.
Valentine's Day 2019, he accused one of his women of putting her hands on him.
One? Which one?
On a happier note, he released a new album entitled 777 in August 2019. According to the Rated R&B website, he's now ready to officially step away from the industry for good. Life told the Clayton Perry website that looking back on his career, one thing he regrets is not taking full control over his projects. He always had the desire to work on bigger and better things, but his labels always held him back. When asked about the legacy he wants to leave behind, Life said, "I just want my legacy to be that I made a difference."
Okay.
Amazing. Swear to God, amazing.
Okay.
And on you could make a lot of money from a clone of you. Just to be alone with you.
That man has 7 kids.
Okay. Your property. I belong to you. I belong to you.
Okay. I don't know who's up next, but okay, who's up? Oh, John B is up next. Okay. They just doing all the male R&B artists today. Okay. Alright, so clean off the sides. Oh, this one's real clean. They ain't got nothing.
John B rose to fame as a songwriter before
Okay.
embarking on a solo career. He experienced instant success with his back-to-back platinum albums. With songs such as They Don't Know and Are You Still Down featuring Tupac, he broke down barriers and became one of the most successful R&B singers of the 90s. Despite having impeccable songwriting skills and support from other influential artists, he didn't stay at the top for long. This is a tale of depression.
I love John B.
Creative differences and rediscovery.
What happened? Yeah, I want to know what happened. I know he was signed to
John Buck was born in Rhode Island on November 11th.
Rhode Island. I didn't know that.
When he was 4 years old, he and his family moved to Pasadena, California. His father was a musician at a local university, while his mom was a concert pianist. Music was a huge part of their family, and his parents required John and his 2 siblings to each master an instrument.
Okay.
His younger brother played the cello, his sister learned how to play the violin, and when he was in 4th grade, he taught himself how to play the keyboard, guitar, and drums.
That's 2 coats. Both.
John's grandparents owned a record store, and that's where he came across vinyl records by the Beatles and the Bee Gees. He fell in love with funky.
So how he went from the, how he went to, well, I guess the Bee Gees, because the Bee Gees is kind of soulful. I love me the Bee Gees. I love the Bee Gees. Okay. Well, the Beatles too. Who don't love the Beatles? Beatles is like universal. Okay. Okay. Boom. 2 coats. Okay. So now it's the fun part, right?
During his episode of Unsung, John said that the teasing was really rough and became too much for him to handle. His parents pulled him out of school and enrolled him at LA County High School for the Arts.
And the white out.
Still rejected by some students who believed he was faking his love for black culture and music, but he finally found acceptance with a group of tight-knit friends.
Okay.
He told the LA Times that the positive response he received from his peers during talent shows and school performances encouraged him to keep writing music.
Okay.
He went to a friend's house and they listened to records by Keith Sweat and Gerald Levert. But it was Keith's voice that really caught John's attention. He knew he wanted to write heartfelt songs just like that one day.
All right. This is the Shiznick.
He was a former member of the
This gold right here. This gold right here. Right here.
John said the experience really helped him believe in himself as a vocalist. It was during his teenage years that he met his girlfriend and fellow singer, Music Galloway. At the time, he had no idea their rocky relationship would be the source of inspiration for one of his greatest hits. While other 17-year-olds were preparing for graduation, John had his sights set on superstardom.
How did I scoop this out again?
With the help of his dad, he built a mini studio in his home. Then they shopped his demo around the LA recording industry.
I forgot how I scooped this out.
According to the New York Daily News, he got turned down time and time again. John said most of the companies were okay with him writing songs, but they wanted him to stay in the background and never be seen. He started to believe that maybe becoming a performer wasn't in the cards.
That might be too much, actually. That might have been too much. Hold on.
Gave John and his dad the heads up about a new company called Yab Yum Entertainment.
Hold on.
By Babyface's wife, Tracy
Okay.
Edmonds. Tracy told the LA Times she wasn't concerned about John's race. It was his songwriting skills that immediately impressed her.
Okay.
She added, "I knew that with careful career planning, he was an artist who could be accepted by both the R&B
Yeah,
and
because that was
pop
way
audiences,
too much.
regardless of
Okay.
genre."
That was
John
way
told the
too
New
much.
York Daily News he had a 2-hour meeting with Tracy and Babyface where he shared his dreams
Okay.
and the kind of records
And this is like liquid gold.
songwriter.
This is like my favorite. So I just want to make sure
Yab Yum Entertainment as a writer,
that I put this in right.
a recording contract with Sony Epic as well.
Okay.
Babyface
I forgot how I
and
scooped
Tracy
it out
had
last
to
time.
get John's feet wet in the industry by building his relationship
I can't remember how I scooped it out last
Babyface
time.
set up production
Okay.
opportunities with Color Me Bad and After 7.
Okay. That's a good amount.
He wasn't sure if he
Now
could
that's
take it
good.
seriously since he was so young, but he immediately discovered that other musicians respected
Okay.
his opinion and his talent.
Perfect. Okay.
Free liquid detergent. It's free of fragrance. It's free of
Okay.
free of preservatives. So it's really gentle on sensitive skin. You can be certain that
Now,
sensitive skin free and clear of laundry detergent.
now this is way easier to take out.
Then it was time for him to record his
Okay.
solo project. Babyface wrote the song Someone to Love, and when it came time for John to record, Babyface decided to hop on the track and turn it into a duet. In 1995, John released Bonafide, and the album was certified platinum. Someone to Love received a Grammy nomination, and Pretty Girl rose to the top of the charts. He went from being the guy who sounded like Babyface to a star in his own right. Because of the
Okay.
success of Someone to Love and Pretty Girl, the label decided he should cross over and experiment with pop music. John was hesitant to move away from his passion, so he pushed back and began crafting the sophomore album he knew his fans would love. Behind the scenes, he was dealing with a very tumultuous time in his life, and his relationship with his girlfriend Music was rockier than ever.
Okay.
He wrote the song They Don't Know as a way to express the rumors that were tearing their relationship apart. When his 1997 album Cool Relax was released, They Don't Know reached number 2 on the R&B
Okay.
chart. And the track Don't Say reached number 34 on Billboard's Hot R&B chart. But it was the track Are You Still Down featuring Tupac that made John feel like he was finally accepted as an R&B artist. His third
All
single
right.
was the track I Do, What You Say, Boo. He made sure the music video for the song reflected his real life and his interracial relationship. The song hit number 18 on the R&B chart.
Okay.
Cool Relax was certified double platinum. But still, not everyone was pleased. He told the LA Times that people were
I don't know why
still
people still. What was that?
music video. They also began prying into his personal life to
What
make
was
sure
that?
he was
Oh.
living the lifestyle he portrayed in his videos. To assure his fans, John told the interviewer, "The woman I can relate to right now is a black woman." In 1998, he and Music got engaged. After getting married, he took a few years off. He also formed a group called Jack Herrera with 2 of his backup singers.
Okay.
But he mainly enjoyed his time off as a newlywed. By 2000,
John, I'm so clumsy. Okay.
start working on his third album.
Okay, here we go. Finally.
Really getting
Right?
into hip-hop, and he wanted to release songs that would make people
Almost forgot.
dance.
Almost forgot
album
the
was
main
released
part.
in 2001 and went gold.
Child.
But despite
Okay,
the popularity
Bloomin'
of the
Joe.
song Don't Talk, it was the
Bloomin',
first
bloomin',
and last
bloomin'.
single that was released from the album. there was trouble brewing between John and Tracy Edmonds. She respected his desire to experiment with hip-hop music, but their creative differences were causing a rift. The more John went toward the urban side of music, the more the label backed off. They wanted him to recreate the success of his sophomore album, Cool Relax, while John was desperate to explore his creativity. That wasn't the only problem. Tracy and Babyface were going through marital issues, and there were a bunch of different changes happening at Young. People who were instrumental in John's career were suddenly sent packing, leaving John to feel like his projects were being overlooked. He finally asked to be released from his contract. That same year, his marriage to music fell apart as well, and the $200,000 studio he built got demolished in a fire. All of his hard
I didn't know that.
computers and equipment with songs he had made throughout the years were destroyed.
Oh my goodness.
He fell into a depression and said he turned into a completely different person. He began smoking cigarettes and drinking non-stop.
Oh my gosh.
He went through a 4-month period where he lived in Venice Beach by himself in a furnished apartment that the fire insurance paid for. He called it one of the hardest times of his life.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
One person in his corner, a woman named Danette, whom he met on the Los Angeles poetry scene.
That's
They had been friends
horrible.
for a few years after bonding over their Scorpio zodiac signs. Danette consoled John through his divorce,
I bet.
and John, the hopeless romantic, eventually fell in love. With his personal life back on track, he signed with Sanctuary Records under the direction of Matthew Knowles' Music World Entertainment. He channeled his personal journey into his 4th album entitled Stronger Every Day. John said the album was based on real experiences. He put his entire soul into the songs, and the album peaked at number 17. Sadly, things weren't looking too good at his new label. Matthew Knowles had ruined most of his industry connections. Radio wouldn't play any of the music he was associated with, including songs from John's new album. So the R&B artist decided it was time to part ways. He and Danette got married in 2007. In 2008, he returned with the album Helpless Romantic, followed by Comfortable Swag in 2012, and B-Sides Collection in 2013, which featured 23 previously unreleased songs. In 2018, he announced through his official website he was putting the finishing touches on his 8th studio album. He also made a special appearance at that year's BET Awards. And in 2019, he released a duet with fellow veteran singer Donnell Jones entitled Understand. He told the Electronic Urban Report that he really wants everyone to know he's still involved in the music business. However, he has noticed a shortage of venues that are catered to R&B musicians. He's also aware that most radio stations rarely play the type of music he makes.
Wow, it's like I ran out of this. This is like my favorite, and it's like dead. I have to buy another one.
He said that across the pond there is a greater demand for his soulful classics. He isn't discouraged though. He knows the industry is constantly changing.
See, it's close to it. I'm just waiting for it to spread a little bit.
That will forever remain the same. Let us know if you're surprised by what happened to John B's career. And thanks for watching Real Reality Gossip.
He can drink from my soda anytime.
Where did you learn to slide like that?
I know where.
Hey, what's up? This is Montel.
In July 2012, a rumor floated around on Twitter declaring Montel Jordan had passed away in his Atlanta condo. Thankfully, it was nothing more than a hoax, but it left people wondering, where is Montel Jordan? The rumor came at a time when he was adjusting from life away from the spotlight. He experienced fame with his hit song, This Is How We Do It, but a greater calling pulled him away from the music industry. This is a story of lies, betrayal, infidelity, and horrible financial
I'm
decisions.
telling you, it's like crazy
Here's
today.
the real reason Montel Jordan disappeared from
Okay.
the limelight.
Okay,
He
so
was given the name Montel Deshaun Barnett and was born 4 days before his
Now, okay, now it's spread enough. So I'm gonna put this in the nuka. Now I'm gonna clean off the sides. Make sure it's not losing its shape. And put this in there. Okay. So I have another one here. I gotta make sure I buy this again because it's like almost gone. Ugh. I'm gonna try to kill it. Oh, but I'm gonna try to kill it off.
He got into rap music when he was 11 years old.
Always wanted to be in a music group. Hip hop was big for me, so everything from NWA, because I was on the West Coast, up to Slick Rick the Ruler, who for me was my New York inspiration.
But he never wanted to be a rapper. His heart always belonged to traditional R&B. He grew up listening to some of his parents' favorite artists, including the Spinners, Isaac Hayes, and Teddy Pendergrass. He would write
yeah, no, it's like dead. There's barely any.
Developing his own unique style, but it would take some time for the world to experience his greatness. He attended Sarah High School in Gardena, California, and during his time there,
Barely anything here. I just don't want to throw it away until it's like gone.
parents always wanted him to go to college so he could be better off than they were. So they put their
I'm just gonna
schooling.
I got this from Amazon, so it's like easy to get it back, but I have another one of these. I just really
Montel told NBA.com that although he's 6 feet 8 inches tall, he didn't play on the basketball team. Instead, Montel was one of the equipment managers who was in charge of washing the team's uniforms. When he wasn't helping out the team, Montel was back in his room focusing on his music career. Doug Christie remembered walking into their dorm and finding bed sheets hanging out on the walls to act as a sound barrier. Montel would be in there recording music and doing his thing. He put more effort into trying to get signed by a record label, but he still didn't have any offers.
okay.
He became a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, and while in college, he met a girl named Kristen Hudson at a fraternity event. When Montel asked her to dance, she turned him down. He kept asking her over and over again until she finally gave in. He didn't impress her by busting out with the running man on the dance floor, but by their second date, they knew they were perfect for each other. In 1991, he graduated from Pepperdine with a bachelor's degree in communications and a minor in business. He worked at an ad agency and he was doing well for himself, but the company experienced financial problems and Montel was laid off. While figuring out his next move, he married Kristen in 1994. She began to manage his career, and they had no idea he was about to get a big break. One of Montel's fraternity brothers, who was also a business associate of the late John Singleton, encouraged Def Jam executives to listen to one of Montel's tapes. Leor Cohen, the former president and CEO of Def Jam Records, told the Los Angeles Times he was already on a mission to find someone who could infuse hip-hop elements into traditional and Montel was exactly what he was looking for.
Okay, we doing okay on time. I thought I was really dragging it, but I guess not.
his R&B version of rap, and so I was just basically singing what the rappers were rapping.
Yeah, there was just one little problem. Executives pressured Montel into telling the public that Kristen was nothing more than his manager. The idea was that if Montel could be marketed as a single man, it would make him more popular with his female fan base. He and his wife thought it was a great idea for him to abandon his Christian principles, so they went along with it. In 1995, he became the second R&B singer signed to Def Jam's Def Soul label. That same year, he released his first album, which went platinum. Thanks to his smooth vocals on This Is How We Do It, the party anthem spent 7 weeks at the #1 spot on the Billboard Top 100. The track was blasted at every nightclub and every backyard cookout. Montel was even nominated for a Grammy. His career was going better than expected, and with his newfound fame came the attention from his fans. He told Religion magazine that
Okay.
Keep killing bacteria for 20
Okay.
touch after touch with Microban 24.
that everywhere he went, women were throwing themselves at him. Plus, there was free alcohol flowing all over the place, and this led to many infidelities.
Uh-oh.
In 1996, he headed out on tour with Boys to Men. During a stop in Vancouver, Canada, the group introduced Montel. As he approached the stage, he noticed red lights flashing in the distance. He glanced to the side and saw a few men plugging their ears. Montel knew something was about to explode.
Oh, no.
Flares shot across the stage. He covered his ears and backed up against the backstage wall, only to realize it was actually a black curtain that hung from the 7-foot stage. Montel fell through it and landed directly on the back of his head. He told
Really?
Religion magazine it took some time for everyone to rush back to where he had fallen, so he had some time to connect with God. Boys to Men had the lights cut back on and instructed their 13,000 fans to join them in prayer to ask God to save Montel's life. Paramedics arrived and took him to the hospital, and doctors discovered he had no concussion and no broken bones. Aside from feeling a bit sore, he was perfectly fine. He called it a modern-day miracle.
Yes, that was.
Montel credits Boys to Men for saving his life through prayer. That accident, plus the guilt from his infidelities, made him reconsider his life, his decisions, and his career. But he put his feelings aside and continued to release some hits. His second studio album, More, dropped in 1996, and in December of that year, his song Falling reached number 18 on the Billboard chart. 1998 brought the release of his album Let's Ride,
Okay.
followed by 1999's Get It On Tonight.
That was my song.
Self-titled album hit stores in 2002. Aside from releasing his own hits, including Something for the Honeys and Let's Ride, featuring Master P and Silk the Shocker, he also wrote and produced Sisqó's Incomplete.
Oh, he did?
Cox's single, Nobody's Supposed to Be Here.
I didn't know he wrote Incomplete.
Everything was going just as planned, but it all came crashing down. Montel and his family were making the transition to start a new life in Atlanta. A mutual friend who was aware of Montel's infidelity gave the singer an ultimatum. Either they would tell Kristen the truth or Montel could come clean about cheating on her. So Montel decided to take matters into his own hands. On September 20th, 2000, the day before Kristen's birthday, Montel told her he had been unfaithful. Kristen packed her bags and flew to Los Angeles. Upon her return to Atlanta, she wanted to leave Montel completely, but she said God told her to stand by her husband's side. The couple knew it was the music industry that had caused the issues in their marriage, and they both realized they had let fame, money, and success drive a wedge in between them. In the end, Montel chose his marriage over his career, but he still had some hurdles to cross. Kristen was pregnant with their third child, but she suffered a miscarriage in 2002. In 2003, he left Def Soul after creative differences and signed with Coke Records. That same year, he released the album Life After Death, and then things quickly spiraled out of control. They were hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt due to money mismanagement, and they were forced to file for bankruptcy in 2004. In 2005, their dream home in Atlanta caught on fire, leaving behind just the walls of the garage. A car was repossessed, and Montel's fluctuations in his weight caused him to undergo not one, but 2 liposuction procedures.
What?
In addition to all of that, Kristen admitted to having an affair with a family friend.
Ooh.
Just like she had forgiven him for cheating, Montel found it in his heart to forgive her too.
Oh my
He
goodness.
signed with Fontana Records in 2008 and released the album Let It Rain. His fame began to fade by that point, but in 2010, things were looking up for him. He had a comeback album on deck and a reality show in production, but those projects were eventually put on hold. Montel told LA Weekly it was at that time he and his family joined Victory World Church in Atlanta. After a 21-day fasting ritual in July of 2010, Montel recalled the Lord speaking to him until
Okay.
he was retired. He grappled with the idea of walking away from his R&B career, but he knew it was something he had to do. At the time,
Yeah, it was.
the
Whew.
children's ministry of the church, a worship minister walked in and asked him to be a part of the service. Montel sang Moving Forward by Israel Houghton.
I see why he left altogether.
Worship
I was wondering why, but now I see. Child.
As of this video, they've released 2 Christian albums. And then his past came back to haunt him.
Why?
In 2012, the IRS hit Montel with
Oh,
a past
no.
due tax bill from the years 1999 through 2001,
Oof.
totaling a little over $617,000. Once the news hit the media, Montel told TMZ he paid the debt years ago by selling his entire music catalog.
Really?
But the funds were still tied up in his 2004 bankruptcy case.
Child.
4 kids and 1 grandkid later, Montel spends his time speaking, teaching, and mentoring.
Okay.
And he and Kristen also minister married couples. He now holds the title of executive pastor, and his church bio only briefly mentions his past career as one of the most influential R&B superstars.
Okay.
Let us know if you're surprised by the rise and fall
Okay.
of Montel Jordan's career. And thanks for watching Real
Yeah, I wouldn't even. I don't blame him now. Oh my goodness. I didn't know. I didn't know.
Sanitized, kaboom, shower tub and tile with OxyClean.
Now I see why he's doing the commercials with Shaq.
99.9% of bacteria and
That was a lot of money.
sanitize your bathroom.
$600,000.
Tile with OxyClean.
Okay.
Nicole Murphy is well known as a mother of 5, reality star, entrepreneur, and a fitness enthusiast. But in 2019, we realized Nicole's dating history has been very interesting and extremely messy.
Well, she's gorgeous.
To fully understand her story, let's go back to before she and Eddie began dating. He was just getting started as a stand-up comic when he met 16-year-old Robin Givens at a comedy spot in Manhattan. Robin told People magazine that Eddie, who was 4 years older than her, was her very first boyfriend.
Really?
Things didn't work out, and he moved on and got engaged to Lisa Ferguson, an Adelphi University student. At the time their relationship started, he had already earned the title of one of the youngest people to ever appear on Saturday Night Live, and so many opportunities were opening up for him. But it was his new life in the spotlight and Eddie's belief that Lisa just wanted him for his money that made him call off their engagement. He told People magazine that after ending things, he became a very bitter man. The end of that relationship set the stage for how Eddie would begin treating the women in his life. He fathered a daughter with his ex-girlfriend Nicole Rader in 1987, and in December 1988, while awaiting the arrival of his second child with a woman named Paulette McNeely, Eddie met Nicole at the NAACP Image Awards. He told People magazine that he turned to his accountant and said, "Her I would marry tomorrow without a prenuptial." He didn't actually follow through with his plans to put a ring on it so quickly. Nicole told People magazine that they took their time getting to know each other. Eddie continued to date other beautiful women, but he told the magazine that he and Nicole were making progress behind the scenes.
I bet.
Within just a few months of meeting, Nicole got pregnant. His old hookup, Paulette McNeely, gave birth to his son in July, and Nicole gave birth to his third child, Bria, in November of 1989. At first, he was excited to start his life with the former supermodel, and he couldn't wait to celebrate Bria's first Christmas together. He told author Pierce O'Donnell, "I wanted to have a kid with Nicole because I was in love with her." When you love someone, you want to be with them also, right? Well, it turns out Eddie has a different way of approaching his relationships. Just 2 months after Bria was born, he told a magazine that he was still with Nicole, but he considered himself to be a single man.
Okay.
He also said Nicole's pregnancy was unplanned, but since she was so, quote, sweet and cool, he told her to keep the baby.
Okay.
She wasn't cool enough to live with him, apparently. She and their daughter weren't even allowed to move into his New Jersey mansion called Bubble Hill, which was basically his party palace. It wasn't that he didn't have enough space. In fact, the home had 32 bedrooms. But Nicole and Bria were shipped off to Nicole's hometown of Sacramento, California. Life wasn't that bad for her in Sacramento. Eddie bought her a lakefront mansion, and he would occasionally fly in to visit. When he would return to Jersey, People magazine said he would jump right back into his bachelor lifestyle. Nicole was living it up too. She reportedly had a $100,000 a year income, in addition to the money Eddie gave her. She seemed to be content with their weird bi-coastal relationship, or she simply wasn't comfortable with speaking up. Eddie's mom told People magazine, Nicole sits on the side and observes. Eddie also made it clear he had no intention of ever marrying her. He said he didn't want to run the risk of falling out of love and having to go through a divorce. By the time their daughter turned 2, Eddie began shifting gears. He started to find the duties of fatherhood more fulfilling than anything else going on in his life. On Christmas Eve, 1991, when Nicole and Bria were visiting his New Jersey home, he proposed with a huge rock, and she said yes. In 1992, Nicole revealed she was pregnant with Eddie's 4th child. And although they were engaged, the comedian was dragging his feet on the way to the altar. During an interview with the New York Times, he proudly displayed a gold bracelet that had N and B charms on it for Nicole and Bria. But when it came time to discuss wedding plans, he played coy about a possible marriage. It didn't help that People magazine also reported he was still spotted out and about with other women while he was engaged to Nicole.
A
She
mess.
gave birth to their son Miles. They finally got married in front of 500 guests at Manhattan's Plaza Hotel. 4 years later, their unconventional marriage took a strange turn. Eddie was driving his Toyota Land Cruiser in an area in West Hollywood that's known for sketchy activity. He drove past 20-year-old Adizone Zayuli and asked if she needed a ride. She hopped in and police pulled them over at 4:45 a.m. Adizone was booked for an outstanding charge, and after questioning, Eddie was free to go home. So where was Nicole during all of this? She and their 3 children were in Sacramento visiting Nicole's mother. The Eddie Professor star told CNN he was just trying to be a good Samaritan by giving Adizone a ride home. He said that for years he would jump into his car at odd hours and drive all over the city and give thousands of dollars to women working on the streets. That particular night, since his wife and kids were gone, he said he was wide awake and bored. So he decided to drive to a newsstand to get something to read, and that's when he encountered Adizone. However, no one really believed him, especially after Adizone told a conflicting story to the National Enquirer. She said that when Eddie drove up to her, he placed 2 $100 bills on her leg before they began discussing the terms of their agreement. Adizone wouldn't get a chance to continue spilling the details about their encounter. Almost a year to the date after the incident happened, she was found lying on the sidewalk outside her apartment building. She had apparently locked herself out of her 5th floor apartment and tried to swing from the roof to her window on a towel and missed. Well, that's the story that was told to the media, and the investigation was closed. No one expected Nicole to stay with him after that incident, but she did. And things remained very quiet for the couple for years. 5 kids later, in August 2005, she decided to end things after 12 years of marriage. A few months after filing, she had reportedly moved on and was spotted hitting up every hotspot in town with a guy named Alan Daniels. She received $15 million from Eddie when their marriage came to an end. She was also given the Sacramento mansion Eddie bought her. She would later put it on the market for $6.5 million and purchased a huge 9-bedroom house in Calabasas.
Okay.
Her new fortune didn't last long, though. When the news reported her $15 million settlement, she was contacted by Troy David Stratos, a man she had known since they were both teenagers. He promised he would help her increase her wealth by investing.
Oh no, Nicole.
However, he had ulterior
Are you serious?
He told her he knew of Middle Eastern royal families who were interested in purchasing her Sacramento mansion.
Oh gosh.
And he convinced Nicole to lease luxury Rolls-Royce and BMWs to make the property more enticing.
Oh gosh.
Troy was then able to live in Nicole's house rent-free and use the vehicle as his own.
No.
In the end, she lost a total of $7 million, and Troy was sentenced to nearly 22 years behind bars. In 2007, HeyGossip.com reported she was spotted with Turks and Caicos premier Michael Missick at the opening of an Antigua hotel. Michael was married to actress Lisa Ray at the time. A source close to Nicole said Nicole is a good friend and she and Michael were both there for an event, but not together. Does that statement sound familiar? If not, keep watching. Nicole and former NFL player Michael Strahan reportedly started dating in 2007. In February 2009, he was convinced Nicole was creeping around with Universal Records exec Demetrius Spencer, and he was right.
Oh.
Using the excuse of business trips, Nicole and Demetrius allegedly flew out on exotic getaways to the Caribbean and Mexico. When she and Demetrius reportedly took her Range Rover into the dealership, Michael had allegedly placed a hidden device in her car to track her location. The New York Post reported he barged into the dealership yelling and screaming, ripped the tracking device off of her dashboard, and stormed out of the place. 3 months later, they flew out to the Bahamas, where Michael proposed with a stunning canary yellow and white diamond ring. And just like her engagement to Eddie, Nicole and Michael weren't in a hurry to pick a wedding date. Their relationship was a mess most of the time, and a source told E! News that during the last 2 years of their romance, they were on again, off again. In July 2014, she told Michael she was going to Punta Cana with her girlfriends.
Oh.
However, the paparazzi caught her cuddling and locking lips with former basketball player Jim Jackson. Initially, a source told TMZ it was just a coincidence that Nicole and her good friend Jim just so happened to be at the same resort at the same time. Familiar?
Girl.
The second statement was released by Nicole herself, who told TMZ she and Michael were on a break when she hooked up with Jim. Next, it was Nicole's turn to be suspicious. When she thought Michael was dating another woman, she decided to end things once and for all by announcing their breakup in August 2014. On the exact same day, he was being inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. As for the massive engagement ring he gave her, she told Wendy Williams she kept it because she deserved it. She continued dating Jim for a few more months before moving on to other prospects. In 2017, she was spotted leaving a Migos party in Houston with Odell Beckham Jr. And in April 2018, she was photographed on a lunch date with Akon's brother, Boo. In January 2019, she was spotted leaving a wine and cheese establishment in Beverly Hills at 1 o'clock in the morning. And guess who was leaving right around the same time?
Who?
Carmelo Anthony. The Daily Mail.
Jeez.
The website believed Nicole and Carmelo were there together, but they assumed they were trying to throw off the paparazzi by leaving at separate times. When Nicole was asked for a statement, her publicist said she and Carmelo just happened to be at the same place at the same time. Are you noticing a pattern here? Nicole quickly moved on once again, and just 4 months later, a blog stated she was allegedly responsible for Birdman and Toni Braxton calling off their engagement.
Oh my gosh.
Lisa Ray did her part by spreading the news about Nicole creeping with a taken man on her official Facebook page. In July 2019, Nicole was spotted making out with Lila Roshan's husband in Italy. At first, she claimed their interaction was friendly, and of course, she said they just so happened to be at the same
place at the same time.
She apologized to Lila and her family and said she would never condone hooking up with a married man. Let us know your thoughts on Nicole's messy dating history.
Gosh.
Thanks for watching Real Reality Gossip.
I can't with her. Child. Well, good thing I took some of it back because I'm going to have some left over.
Having you all here makes me appreciate that with Zelle, we can send money to friends and family pretty much wherever.
I'm going to have a lot left over.
Probably yours.
To Zelle. Zelle. Look for it in your banking app.
As a co-host on The View, fans watched as Star Jones transformed right before their eyes. In the span of a few years, she went from being overweight to a slim and trim size 6. She also found love. Or so she thought. The events leading up to her wedding,
I don't know how she thought Miss Owl.
and her marriage. Lies, rumors, the toxic celebrity culture, a medical crisis, and bisexuality.
I don't know. Al Reynolds should be the most heterosexual heterosexual man in the world. But what
Sure.
straight guy would marry a big fat tub of goo like that?
This is the Star Jones story.
That's not nice. That's not nice. Who said that?
Head over to rrgsnacks.com to purchase a bag of our gourmet popcorn.
Every last person on my 600-pound life is married.
All while getting your club on. Use code POPPY20 to receive 20% off your first order.
Hey, that's the first one. Look how cute.
In 1991, Star left her job as a senior assistant.
This actually looks better than the one I got on.
Began working as a legal correspondent for NBC News. That's when she realized she looked a lot different from the thin, blonde-haired, blue-eyed.
Okay. So yeah, this one is like dead. I'm about to throw this away.
Interacted with other women. In an essay for Glamour magazine, she wrote, "Even though I claimed to be just fine with my weight, I saw how other women were treated like the girlfriend, while I was treated like the good friend." To combat her insecurities of being full-figured, she began eating more. She wrote, "Whenever I felt lonely, a double Whopper with cheese became my friend. If I felt sad, 6 strips of bacon made me feel better." Before she knew it, she weighed 225 pounds.
225 is 225 is not big.
Convinced herself she was fat instead of fat. Her career as a loud and boisterous television personality.
225 is not bad.
Even starred in her own court show called Jones and Jury. It was her outspoken nature and fiery personality.
She was bigger than 225.
Attention. Barbara thought Star would be perfect as one of the co-hosts for her new daytime show called The View. Star agreed and made her debut on the program in August 1997.
Now, personally, I'm a single lady and I love every minute of it. And I guess most of these people would say that I've had a bit of a Cinderella complex. Or in my case, it's like a sisterella complex. But it's hard to do that in a courtroom, and I can do it here every single day, and I'm glad to be here.
She told Glamour magazine she had a great career, but after turning 40, she felt a void in her life. A lot of her friends were getting married and starting families. Star said, "I wasn't just alone, I was lonely." In an effort to feel better, she surrounded herself with a bunch of yes people and spent her private time eating and shopping. She reached 307 pounds.
Oh, I'm about to
and was
say.
unable to breathe without sounding winded. She couldn't walk without getting tired. She had to use a seatbelt extender on planes, and she was prescribed an asthma inhaler. Knowing she was putting her health in jeopardy, she decided to undergo gastric bypass surgery. She shared her decision with friends, family, and her colleagues at The View, and everyone was sworn to secrecy. In the months after the surgery, she lost a drastic amount of weight. Of course, fans of The View wanted to know what she had done. Star said she was afraid of what people would think if they knew the truth, so she attributed her weight loss to portion control and Pilates. In her memoir entitled Audition, Barbara said all of the co-hosts on The View were forced to lie for Star as well in order to protect her. Even though the weight was melting away, Star said she was still consumed by the same anger, shame, and insecurity she felt before the procedure.
Okay.
She said, "While I could physically see the positive benefits of the surgery, in my mind, I still weighed 307 pounds. In November 2003, she was invited to Alicia Keys' album release party, and that's where she met the man of her dreams. As she swayed back and forth to the music, the man placed his hands on her hips from behind and slowly danced with her. Star said, "I leaned back into his chest, and I never left." The man was 35-year-old investment banker.
Okay.
He asked her out, and she said yes. On their first date, they went to a Broadway play. And on their second date, she opened up to him about her gastric bypass surgery. Instead of running for the hills, Al was supportive and made himself available to her whenever she needed someone to talk to. Al told People magazine that because Star was 6 years older than him, she was able to help him navigate through some aspects of his career.
Okay. I bet.
Their relationship was all about nurturing each other,
with Star packing Al's lunch every day before work, and Al teaching Star how to live a healthier lifestyle. At the 2004 NBA All-Star Game, which was just 3 months after they first met, Al proposed, and she said yes. And then came the drama. Reports began to surface about Al's past.
Oh wow, that one is like.
Shared a summer house in a gay section of Fire Island and attended an all-male Halloween party in his Speedos. Other sources claimed Al was, quote, on the down low, and was only marrying Star to cover up his sexual preference. Star and Al had no time to worry about the naysayers, though. Star launched a website to chronicle every detail of their upcoming nuptials. She also sold ad space on the website to companies that wanted to sponsor their wedding. According to the New York Post, Star's plan was to get everything free of charge.
Well, sweetheart, you know that every bride needs something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. Let's go borrow some bling.
She created a written proposal asking for 6 makeup artists, 8 hairstylists, and 10 mani-pedi stations. Beauty companies were given the opportunity to be listed as event sponsors for a fee of $4,500. Or they could pay her $1,500 to provide Oscar-style gift bags for all of her wedding guests. In the months leading up to their union, Star frequently plugged the sponsors for her multi-million-dollar wedding on episodes of the news. She also admitted to viewers that she was getting wedding stuff for free in exchange for talking about the company's air. The big day went
So I'm cleaning out the brush with alcohol.
Star said it was the fairy tale moment she had been dreaming of since she was 8 years old.
Oh gosh.
It was white with a train that went on for several New York blocks.
Just beautiful. I mean, just top-notch, classy, and heartfelt, and just beautiful.
500 guests were in attendance, and Patty LaBelle sang My Love, Sweet Love before the vow exchange. Married life was blissful at first. Seeing Star go through emotional turmoil, Al suggested she go public about her surgery because he believed that the set her free, but Star couldn't do it. Instead, she went to therapy. And then things went downhill. The network reportedly took a poll with viewers, and the results showed that Star's popularity had plummeted due to her off-camera behavior. From speculation she was lying about her weight loss to commercializing her own wedding, viewers were tired of her antics. According to Barbara, the network decided in the fall of 2005 that Star's contract wouldn't be renewed after 9 years on the show.
Wow.
When they first told me that my contract was not going to be renewed, they asked me to stay to a certain date, specifically to July 13th. And they specifically said what week they wanted me to talk about it.
In the days leading up to the announcement, Star said there was an overwhelming amount of gossip about her in the press, and she accused her co-hosts Barbara and Joy Behar of leaking stories to the New York Post.
Every single week, there'd be news reports, speculation, rumor, gossip in the window. And one day, I woke up and
Alright, so I gotta go on Amazon and look for this because that is totally gone. I used it until like it was gone.
So a few days before her agreed upon announcement, Star decided to go out on her own terms.
I thought this is the right time to tell you that the show's moving in another direction for its 10th season, and I will not be returning as co-host next year. It's shocking to me that you I'm going to hold your hands right now, because as you might imagine, this is going to be the hardest thing to do, okay? Yeah. It's been the most amazing 9 years.
Okay, and so that is done. Now, what I'm going to do now is, since that is done, okay, since I took that off, put that back.
She also told the Seattle Times she regretted turning her wedding into a product-endorsed circus.
Okay.
She said it all boiled down to her taking advantage of her few months later, Al told ABC News he was still wearing his wedding ring because he was still in love with Star. Despite calling his wedding the most exciting day of his life, he also said he wasn't aware of everything Star was doing to secure endorsements for the nuptials.
I have to be honest with you. A lot of this, when I came into it, I just thought that maybe that's how it was for celebrities. Clearly, as a businessman, if I knew that this was going to affect us and our marriage in any way, I would have never allowed us to participate in the nature that we did.
Okay.
Asked Star to respond to Al's declaration of love, Star made it clear she wasn't in love with him anymore. She had already moved on with an executive chef named Herb Wilson, and she told the magazine, "I want to fall in love again. I'm ready to 24/7. I want happiness."
Okay, so this is done.
The prenup because it left him with, quote, basically nothing. And in September 2008,
So make sure it's not, because I made a boo-boo last time. Make sure it's not matted.
and began exercising regularly. But in 2010, she started experiencing shortness of breath, heart palpitations, and lightheadedness. She was eventually diagnosed with heart disease. She told Today.com she had surgery to repair a malfunctioning aortic valve and to drain fluid that had been building up around her heart. The surgery was a success, and Star is now dedicated to warning other women about the disease that almost took her life. With her health back on track, she was ready to look for love. She told the Chicago Tribune she signed up for an online dating site and met a Chicago attorney named Ricardo Lugo.
Hold on, so what happened to the...
back and forth for 8 weeks before the father of one finally took her out on a date to a French.
Hold on, so what happened to the man she was just talking about?
She announced their engagement. And that following month, Al popped back up with some scandalous information. In an interview with Radar Online, Al put the rumors to rest about his preference by stating, "I accept myself as a bisexual man." No one was surprised, nor did anyone care. But during an interview with ASAP, another Sean Allen podcast, Al aired Star out.
I was not the first bisexual man that she was involved with, okay? The guy that she was engaged with before she met me was a bisexual man. He came out shortly after she got married as gay. So I'm not the first bisexual man that she was involved with. Some women like it.
She knew you were bisexual.
There was no reason for me to not be transparent. I stepped down and I told her, at that time, my experience was very limited, but I told her what my experience had been up to that point.
Star and Ricardo tied the knot in November 2018 on a Royal Caribbean cruise in the
Oh gosh, I don't know why.
In an interview with Us Weekly, Star described her husband as kind and gentle and said she was loving her new role as a stepmom. These days, Star keeps a low profile. She's more private than ever. She's learned her lesson from her first disastrous marriage, and we wish her nothing but the best.
Hello, and welcome to the Doc Exchange,
Okay.
a Stories podcast, in partnership with the Gerson Trust. Every week, I'll ask a new filmmaker or filmmaking team about 3 documentaries connected by a single theme that have made a meaningful impression on their work and life.
Okay. Now, this is like all done. I'm just putting the top coat on. Basically. thing that's gonna be left is top coat and I'm getting tired now. I don't know why I'm getting so tired. It's only 10 o'clock. I wasn't even doing these long. I actually did these kind of fast.
You're talking about Michael Jackson here.
How I get to Michael Jackson?
There was a lot of pressure to get it right.
Hold on. How I get to Michael? Okay. Should be on the last one.
Add movies and shows to your watch list from anywhere. And welcome to Easier TV. Welcome to Google TV.
Ooh, slippery little sucker.
Known for being one of the best tennis players the world has ever seen. Whether she's playing singles or doubles,
Yeah, Venus is real private.
we love watching her decimate her opponents. We know so much about her path to becoming an Olympic gold medalist and Wimbledon champ, but when it comes to her private life, Venus is extremely tight-lipped.
Yeah.
We were able to find some interesting details about her past romances.
She's real quiet with her private life.
Before we get started, don't forget to grab something to eat at rrgsnacks.com, our online concession stand that has an assortment of delicious treats like strawberry cheesecake popcorn, whiskey beef jerky, and bacon jerky. Okay, now let's jump into today's video. As Venus continued making her ascent to the top of the tennis world, she was in need of extra security to protect her from overzealous fans. In 1999, while competing in the Tier 1 Italian Open in Rome, a man named Davide Tomosoni was hired to be her bodyguard. Not only did 18-year-old Venus win the tournament, but she and 22-year-old Davide fell in love. Sources report Davide was Venus's first real boyfriend, and many people close to the tennis star were surprised she was making time for a relationship. Sources claimed Venus's dad, Richard Williams, prohibited her and Serena from forming friendships outside of tennis because it would be too much of a distraction.
Oh no.
In fact, Richard had planned out everything pertaining to Venus's career.
Oh no.
In an interview, he said she should retire from tennis around the age of 25 or so, go to college, and then give him a grandchild when she turns 35.
Oh, is that so?
She always prided herself on walking the straight and narrow path. She told Oprah Winfrey that no matter what she does in life, she wants to set a good example for her family and her religion. She said, "You do your personal best, and God reads the heart." Part of her religious beliefs shaped the way she approached relationships, and Venus had reportedly promised her dad she wouldn't date anyone seriously until she met the man she knew she wanted to marry. So, of course, everyone thought Venus and Davide were serious about each other. After 2 years of dating, Venus told reporters the only man in her life was her dog, Bobby. But that wasn't entirely true. Her relationship with Davide was still going strong. He continued working as a bodyguard part-time, all while finishing up his degree at the University of Florence. He and Venus continued making time for each other by scheduling frequent visits. She even flew to Italy to meet his family and reportedly stayed with him at his parents' apartment. Davide graduated from college and began working as a clothing company executive. When asked by a reporter to elaborate on his relationship with Venus, he simply called her his special friend. Sometime around 2002, after 3 years of dating, things fizzled out, but they remained good friends for many years. After their breakup, she told The Guardian she wasn't looking for a relationship and was focused on her tennis career. She added, "I wouldn't say I was especially desperate to get that ring on my finger. When I'm 40, maybe, and it still hasn't happened, perhaps I'll be wondering what's going on, but I'm okay for now." With a hectic training and competition schedule, it's no surprise we didn't hear much about Venus's dating life for many years. But finally, in 2007, 26-year-old Venus was done with being secretive and was ready to introduce the world to her new boyfriend, 31-year-old professional golfer Hank Keeney. During a July 2007 interview with Hello Magazine, Venus said she and the father of one had been dating for 6 months. She invited him to watch her play at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open, and she said he was very supportive of her and her career. Even
what year was this?
Dad thought her new boyfriend was a catch. Richard told Hello Magazine, and he's a major league guy too, so he knows about sports. It's great to have him on board. Online sources say
on
they
board.
were engaged, but sadly, things didn't work out. By the spring of 2010, their relationship was reportedly over, and Hank married someone else the following year.
Oh.
She was back on the market, but not for long. In September 2012, Venus had a new man on her arm, a Cuban model named Elio Piez. Some sources reported Elio was 24, while other outlets stated he was 29 at the time he began dating 32-year-old Venus. Either way, he was part of Venus's new cheering squad and was in attendance at several of her matches. She also got him involved in her new clothing line by featuring him in the brand's promotional photos. In an interview with an Italian magazine, Venus explained that she couldn't keep her hands off her new boo. But this was yet another relationship that didn't end with a happily ever after. In 2017, it appeared that Venus had finally found the one. His name was Nicky Hammond, and he was an heir to the TV Guide publishing fortune.
Oh.
Some people had an issue with the age difference, since Venus was 37 and Nicky was 24 at the time. But the haters didn't stop them from falling for each other. Nicky wooed Venus from the start and even invited her to his family's $20 million estate in the Hamptons, and she invited him to be her +1 at Serena's 2017 wedding. In August 2018, it was reported that Nicky had put a ring on it, but it wasn't an engagement ring. An insider
A
told
promise
Page
ring?
6, Nicky presented Venus with a friendship ring.
Oh.
When Page 6 reached out to him for an explanation, Nicky simply stated, "We have a firm commitment to one another to keep our relationship private." 10 months later, it was all over. A source told Page 6 that after 2 years together, their romantic relationship was over, but they were still friends. The source added that Venus, who was 39 at the time of the breakup, was looking to get married and start a family.
Yes.
27-year-old Nicky wasn't ready.
Oh no, Venus.
During a Q&A session on Instagram, a curious follower asked if they were an item, and Venus replied that Wiley had rejected her. Whether she was serious or just playing around, we may never know for sure.
Okay.
During a September 2021 chat in Magazine, Venus said she was in love with the freedom that her life allows. She doesn't feel influenced by societal pressures to settle down and start a family. Venus is smart, beautiful, driven, and successful. And any man would be lucky to be in her presence. We wish her nothing but the best in her career, her business endeavors, and everything else life has in store for her. If you enjoyed this video, let us know down below. And thanks for watching RRG.
Okay, so now that it's like done, I'm going to put this on because I don't want to touch it, and it has fingerprints. Okay.
Bernard Jeffrey McCullough, better known as Bernie Mac, didn't catch his big
Okay.
break until he was in his 30s. But once he had the world's attention, his talent was...
What's going on? May not be no food in the refrigerator.
He quickly climbed the ranks to become known as through it all, from being on food stamps to living in a mansion. After Bernie passed away. As we look back at Bernie and Rhonda's beautiful marriage and an update on how Rhonda has coped with this tragic loss.
Okay, make sure.
Feeling hungry? Head over to rrgsnacks.com.
Make sure it's even.
Gourmet popcorn. Available in several flavors. Now you can enjoy a super all while getting your grub on. Use code POP'EM20 to receive 20% off.
This one's not even.
Bernie Mac was born and raised in the Inglewood community of Chicago. He was the second child of Mary McCullough and Jeffrey Harrison. He only saw his dad about 10 times during his life, and his mother raised Bernie and his siblings on her own with some help from her parents. Bernie told Oprah Winfrey he was sitting on his mom's lap watching Bill Cosby on the Ed Sullivan Show when he noticed his mom was crying. Bernie wiped the tears from her face and asked, "Why are you crying?" She wouldn't give him an answer, but he later found out she had been diagnosed with breast cancer. Despite being sick, Bernie said she took care of all of them and kept her diagnosis a secret. Bernie soon realized that his mom would always laugh while watching the Ed Sullivan Show. So one day he told her, "Mom, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a comedian, so you never cry again." From there,
Okay.
he developed impeccable comedic timing that entertained his family and his classmates. He told Oprah he even kept a smile on his mom's face up until she passed away when he was 15. He told
Okay.
Oprah at times that by the time he was 16, he had lost one brother to an illness, another brother lost his life to violence, and his grandmother passed away.
Now.
He kept himself busy and worked even harder to make other people happy. He told Oprah, "If I can tell someone a story that makes them bend over and laugh, that's bigger than anything else." In 1974, while at Vocational High School, a mutual friend introduced him to a fellow student named Rhonda Gore. Bernie told her, "Girl, you better get on this train because I'm going to be rich and famous." Rhonda told Oprah all the girls at school were crazy about Bernie, but she couldn't figure out why. Once she started talking to him, she realized he had a charm about him, and they started dating.
Okay.
A couple of years later, Rhonda got pregnant, and Bernie decided to do the right thing. 20-year-old Bernie and 19-year-old Rhonda got married
All right.
on September 17th, 1977. Their daughter Janice was born in 1978, and Bernie's biological father passed away that same year.
Yeah. So.
If I'm this strong, I wonder what else I can do.
That's that one, and that's mine, right? There. Okay. That's that one.
At Macy's, the fragrance destination.
Even though he would constantly tell Rhonda they would be rich one day, their marriage was while Bernie bounced around to different jobs. Delivered Wonder Bread, worked as a restaurant manager, and was even a basketball coach. Comedy clubs, and told Oprah he was making about $25 a year doing stand-up. Rhonda decided she wanted a better life. A nursing degree in 1986. Bernie finally got his big break in 1990 when he entered the Miller Lite comedy search hosted by Red Fox. The winner got to
Okay.
see Red Fox in Las Vegas, plus a $3,000 cash prize. When Bernie
Okay.
said the winner and he was handed the check, it was the most money he had ever seen in his life. He didn't go out and blow it on a bunch of fancy things. Instead, he put it in a college fund for his daughter. It wasn't until the next day when he was
Make sure
trying to
it's
figure out
all
the
even.
bread really hit him. As the tears rolled down his cheeks, he dropped off the bread and decided he was quitting his job. He said to himself, "You're a comedian now." He went home and told his wife, "If I don't try this, I'm going to die." Rhonda simply replied, "I'm with you." From deaf comedy Party Jam to Mo Money to his own HBO variety show called Midnight Mac, Bernie was blowing up.
Okay.
He starred in films alongside other comedians like Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence and got cast in Ocean's 11. He was also featured in the original Kings of Comedy. In 2001, he appeared in his own program called The Bernie Mac Show, which was loosely based on his stand-up acts. While his career was moving at a fast pace, Wanda maintained their home, kept the bills paid, served as Bernie's accountant, and raised their daughter. Bernie would affectionately refer to her as the boss. Even though he was on the road a lot, where many celebrities have to deal with temptation, Wanda wasn't fazed. She said, "At that point, I was very secure in my role as his wife and didn't have to worry about anything." With his increased popularity came a better financial situation and stability for their family. Wanda told Ebony that after making $1 million, she retired from nursing.
Okay. So these are done. Boom. So now they are done, everybody. And here they are. Thank you for hanging out with me. Here is mine. And here is the set I'm going to be selling. So, thanks for hanging out. These are going to be on sale on the site. And look out for them. I will see you guys next time. See you next week. See you later. Good night.